How's it going, guys? Welcome to the 5th edition of Random Ramblings with Randomonium. I'm your host, Randomonium, and I'm still feeling a little bit sick, but I'm going to do a little bit of a longer game, and I'm really happy because I finally fixed all of the issues I was having with my sound. On a lot of my earlier streams, there's some static noise, and just the sound quality was not as good as I would like. I think I've resolved all of those issues, so I'd like to know what you guys think. If there's any other problems that you guys hear with the sound. But the reason why I'm going to cast this game, it is a little bit longer than I normally cast, but it's a really good game because pretty much this entire game we're going to be behind, both in gold and in kills. But we're able to get a victory in this game because we have very good objective control and because we have very good team fight. So that's going to be kind of the highlights of this game. So for our team, we have Karthus in top lane. I'll be playing Maokai in the jungle. Kog'maw is our mid. Sivir's our ADC, and Bard is our support. And we're going up against a Heimerdinger in top lane, Udyr in the jungle, Ezreal as mid, Caitlyn as ADC, and Janna as support. And originally we were not planning on playing this Karthus. This was kind of a wild card that we had, and the reason why we picked this is because they picked up the Heimerdinger for top lane. And a lot of the conventional top laners really will struggle against Heimerdinger. So we went with the Karthus. And yeah, we don't have a very tanky team, but neither do they. So hopefully we can turn that into our advantage. So you see Kog'maw is already getting a little bit of an advantage here as far as the trading is concerned. And now down in bot lane. This is really great for all of you, young ADCs who are in kind of the lower elos. Sivir is doing a fantastic job with last hitting every single minion, so because she gets the gold for every single minion, and she's also harassing with her abilities. So that's a sign of a very good AD carry. Somebody who can not miss any CS and yet still use her abilities to harass her enemies. So you can see we're already winning this trade down in bot lane as well. So very good job by her. And then in mid, you're seeing the same thing. He's harassing with his abilities, and yet he's still able to get every single CS. So you're already starting to see like small disparities in the farm. So Udyr's going to come in and gank. Kog'maw does a good job realizing this, gets the slow off on him, and that pretty much averts the gank. So that's a very good job by him. Now Ezreal is going to be forced to farm under tower, which is pretty difficult to do, especially in the early game when you don't have a lot of attack damage or ability power. So he's missing a lot of these CS. Kog'Maw is continuing to harass him under turret. So pretty huge advantage so far for Kog'Maw. And actually that harass is going to force Ezreal to do an early back. Kog'Maw stays patient. He's not going to try and force down the tower or anything like that. He's just going to work on getting that advantage with the CS. That skill shot allows him to really weaken the wave. And the goal here is that when your opponent backs, that you want to get as many minions to die on his tower as possible. Because each minion that dies on that tower is one less minion that he gets in gold. So Kyle clears the wave, this whole wave will die, and he's going to back now. So that's a very good job. Good back timing as well, because by the time this wave gets pushed, he's not going to lose any minions on his tower. up in top lane, Karthus is doing what Karthus does, which is pretty much free farm. This is going to be a pretty heavy farm lane between Heimerdinger and Karthus. And then bot lane, they're doing a good job against us, keeping pressure on us, and yet they're getting these deep wards back here, which make it very difficult for me to gank. So, Sivir's doing a good job playing passive while Bard is allowed to roam, and still getting all the CS. We come in to try and gank, but we get spotted, and they're able to back out. I'm gonna back up real quick because there was a trade here between Ezreal. So Ezreal gets a good trade on Kog, but then he retreats and doesn't fire off auto attacks as he's retreating, and that allows kog'maw to equalize the trade. If Ezreal had continued to fire auto attacks as he retreated, so fire an auto attack, retreat instead, fire an auto attack, retreat, kog'maw would have been a lot lower in health, and Ezreal probably would have been a lot higher in health. I come down and try and gank again, and yep, they instantly back off, so it's obviously warded. Alright, this is a good engage by Karthus. Gets his wall up, lands a lot of his Qs, and almost kills him. And then he goes into this brush, and then he starts his ult. And he survives with 41 hit points. So if Karthus had started his channel immediately here and didn't walk to the bush, he would have killed Heimerdinger. But because he walks to the bush to try and hide the fact that he's going to ult, Heimerdinger is able to survive. So, at the same time, Udyr ganked mid. So, we'll take a look at that as well. So, our kog'maw is doing a really good job, and Ezreal is really far behind. Ezreal engages, ignite, the flash of the stun, Kog flashes over the wall, Ezreal does the fail flash, and kog'maw is able to escape. That was very lucky by kog'maw, and they have to burn both their flashes, so that's more than a fair trade. They burn flash and ignite, and then also they burn the flash on Udyr, so that's definitely a fair trade. So when kog'maw backs, I should probably be backing here as well. So I back late. So Heimer gets to lane before I can come to assist him. And if I had backed right when Kog backed, we would have had a gank opportunity as Ezreal pushed up the lane. So that was definitely a missed opportunity on our part. The other thing is that Heimerdinger teleports back to lane. Karthus knows this because he backs and then he's almost immediately back in lane and able to push this wave. Karthus walks back to lane. So this is a missed opportunity by us that whenever you have this TP disadvantage for a period of time, you can see that Karthus's TP is going to come off cooldown here pretty shortly. Well before Heimerdinger, we should be trying to exploit that by trying to take like a dragon. But we don't do that, so that's definitely a mistake on our part. So I'm going to continue to try and gank with minimal success. This Jan actually does a very good job keeping her ward presence up, so it prevents me from ganking a lot of the time this game. So if you find that Their bot lane is doing a really good job warding these river and warding this tri-bush. The other option you can do is if your lane is pushed up, you can try and come down through the lane brush. Or the other option, of course, is to pick up pinks and pick up an early sweeper and just pretty much deny their ward coverage. So focus on clearing wards rather than just hoping they don't have a ward there. So I'm going to come up and take Scuttle Crab because I really want to get this dragon. But Udyr comes in. He's a level higher than me. So the reason why I engage on Udyr here is look at the positioning of kog'maw and Ezreal. Ezreal not only is at half-life, but kog'maw is much closer. So kog'maw can respond a lot quicker to this, and it will be a 2v1 situation. But there's definitely some miscommunication between us, and kog'maw doesn't respond. I don't think we could have killed Ezreal, but we could have possibly forced him to back and gotten Scuttle Crab control. So just a minor loss there, nothing major. So I gave blue buff to kog'maw, and you can see that with that blue buff, he's just absolutely dominating the lane now. He's got over 20 CS up, and he's able to just fire off his abilities at will, and it's really causing a lot of problems for Ezreal, because Ezreal doesn't have blue buff. He doesn't have the mana to be able to spam his abilities. Bard comes in, tries to take a magical journey. Now he's trading auto attacks right there with Caitlyn, and that's not a fair trade between Bard and Caitlyn. So here, I'm gonna back this up real fast. So he's trading auto attacks. Sivir should be up here attacking with Bard. So that's a little bit of miscommunication. That puts Bard at pretty low health, so when he comes forward, it makes it pretty easy to kill him. And then Sivir can't engage because of the Janna. So I come in and try and flash to get the root, but Caitlyn flashes, I'm not able to get it. So that was first blood, and that was 11 minutes in. So that's pretty good for most games. Most games you don't have first blood that late into the game. Kind of resetting at this point. Heimerdinger uses his teleport again. But Karthus wants it back at this point, so it's not going to be a TP advantage. So now kog'maw's got over 30 CS advantage, so he's just absolutely dominating at this point. And our tower has virtually no damage, while mid tower is less than half. Kog sees Udyr coming in. He kind of gets minion blocked, which forces him to have to flash. And then the stun comes in. But Ezreal and Udyr are both low. And then the ult from Karthus allows us to get a kill. So now, you look in, right here, Bard comes in and ults, allows me to come in, get the root, and the extra kill. So that's a fantastic ult by Bard. And Bard came all the way from bot lane when he saw this. So I came all the way from red side jungle up here, and Bard came from all the way here to respond to this, and we're able to get another kill. So we had some more action going on here, so I'm going to rewind real fast. So Caitlyn's in a 2v1. She gets knocked up. And then the ult from Caitlyn ends up killing her. And then also, there's a lot of action going on mid as well. Aggression going on in top lane. So Karthus is definitely getting the better of this trade. But then Heimerdinger does his rockets. And also does his turret. And is able to get the kill just barely. Since Karthus just uses ult. Not able to do anything about it. So now we're down about 1k gold. 4 kills to 2. And we're about to lose our bot tower. There's not much that Bard can really do to stop this. So almost 14 minutes in. Only 6 kills between the two teams. No dragons have been taken yet. So kind of a very cautious game so far. Kog'maw comes around here. We know that Caitlyn and Janna are there. We know that Ezreal is nearby. Kog'maw goes in on Janna. But Kog'maw's out of position. Bard comes in with his magical journey, but there's 4 of them here, so we're forced to retreat. We're pretty badly split up. But we're able to get a lot of damage on Udyr. I'm able to come in to get the root. That's going to allow us to get the kill. That was definitely pretty bad because we had Sivir and me on one side, and we had Kog'maw and Bard on the other side. But that kill, since Udyr's down, that's going to allow us to try and get this dragon here. So that's the important thing, is that whenever you get a kill, you want to try and push an objective. Whether that's a tower or a dragon. You want to get something out of it. You don't want to just get the kill and be okay with that. If you can get an objective, you want to push the objective. So they're going to move to contest, but they really have no ability to try and contest this. And as soon as we take the objective, we're going to back out. There's no point in trying to risk a team fight when you've taken a lot of damage from dragon. Bard's gonna get some harass on Ezreal, so that's a good job by him. I'm gonna back up right here because this is a pretty awesome play. So Kog'Maw comes down. He really likes his bush for some reason, but it's warded. And he's out of position again. He's trading with Ezreal, almost dies, but Bard saves him with an ult on Caitlyn. Caitlyn uses her ult, but Bard flashes and saves him again. So Bard saves Kog'Maw twice there. That was a fantastic play by Bard. So that's if you're gonna play Bard, that's how you want to play it right there. That was fantastic. So now our goal is going to be to try and get some of that global gold, force down some towers, because right now we don't have any towers. Our first choice is going to be trying to push down mid. Once you push down a mid tower, that really opens up the map for your team and allows you to start getting some more forward ward coverage. Heimerdinger is able to get our top tower, but we're going to trade that top tower for mid tower. The reason why we can brute force this down is because we know the Caitlyn's bot lane. So we're not too worried about an engage from them. So Bard uses a magical journey. There's definitely some miscommunication here. I'm in here, Sivir comes in with an ult, Kog'Maw is out of position, Karthus comes in with his ult. They're all incredibly low health and we just can't get any kills off of this. That's just, we weren't focusing very well. Everybody was attacking somebody different. So Heimerdinger comes down, uses his ult. Our Karthus responds with a TP. can see how low Heimerdinger is. Bard sets up another magical journey for a flank, but we're all trying to back. But kog'maw comes in. Instead of attacking the Caitlyn, tries to go for the Ezreal, but ends up dying because of that. If he turned on Caitlyn, he probably could have killed her. But ultimately, that was just a poor choice to try and re-engage, and we're trying to back out. Definitely miscommunication on our part. So we're going to try and get our lanes pushed out because we want to get towers. We're behind in gold, we know we're behind in gold. And the easiest way to get back into the game as far as a gold lead is to take towers. The server is going to continue to push bot lane. So at this point, we don't have any vision on Udyr. We don't have any, well, we barely have vision on Janna. But Ezreal and Caitlyn have backed off. But Silver's continuing to push, and we don't have any ward coverage on this bot side. So we really don't have vision on anyone at this point. But Silver's going to continue to push without ward coverage. So the only way that they can escape at this point is burning their ult. So they're going to get ganked. Silver does a good spell shield, pops her ult, but Udyr is incredibly fast. Able to get the stun. Bard goes down. One more stun allows Udyr to get the kill on Silver as well. So the reason why that was able to happen was we just didn't have any ward coverage on this side of the map. That allowed us to spot the gank path. But meanwhile, kog'maw is doing some good work in mid. And he realizes that if those three are all bot lane, he just forced Ezreal to back Heimerdinger's top. That's a free blue buff for kog'maw right there. Kog'maw's going to steal their blue, which is very useful for him. He runs into Heimerdinger. kog'maw does a good job using the brush to hide, and then using his skill shots to get the slow and force the Zonias from Heimerdinger, and then Karthus is able to allow kog'maw to retreat. It's a good job. We're able to steal the blue. Don't have any deaths. And then I go to take our blue, so that way they can't try and steal our blue back. Bard tries to do a magical journey, but actually gets knocked up by the Janna tornado. It's actually kind of an interesting interaction right there. So Bard lands an ult on Janna, but we decide not to go in because we really don't know where Udyr is, and we know that Caitlyn and Ezreal are close, so it could have wound up being a 4v3. So even though we land the ult, we don't go in for that reason. At least we start getting some dragon control and get some wards up. So this is some very good harass by kog'maw. He's pretty much landing every single one of these ults. Both incredibly low. So Caitlyn heals, but still gets a kill on Ezreal. And that kill is going to allow us to take dragon, right? So as soon as we get a kill on one of their teammates, we're going for a dragon. And that's exactly what you want to do. So Udyr comes in, tries to get a kill or something. I think this is a poor decision by him. And he dies. And then Heimerdinger comes in for a TP. And even though he tries to Zonia, he's going to die as well. And then Karthus comes in for a TP to help us take dragon. Karthus comes in, flashes to get Caitlyn and Janna off so they can't possibly steal it. But Ezreal's back up. He actually times his ult very well. He's not able to steal it, but he does kill Sivir with it. And look how low health both me and Bard are after that ult. So he almost gets a triple kill off of that. And steals dragon. But we're able to secure the dragon off of that one. There's a dragon fight, we're going to reset. Our bot lane is pushing again, so we're going to be looking to try and clear that out as well. So right now you can see our ward coverage is pretty bad. Well, the only pink ward we have is that dragon pit. And then we have one other ward. And all of our trinkets are up, but we're just not using them. So that's something we definitely have to work on. So they're showing 3 mid. I'm going to help kog'maw out. I'm not going to take any CS from him, so he can clear the wave pretty well. I'm just here to make sure that if they dive him, he can survive. In the meanwhile, we're still pushing this bot lane, and we still don't have ward coverage. So whenever you do this, you have to make sure that you keep eyes on the enemy team. Since the enemy team backs off, this is a very unsafe maneuver because they can come down through their red side jungle and gank Sivir again pretty easily. Thankfully they don't. She's able to get another tower to kind of equalize the gold. We actually got an advantage now. So I'm going to back up real quick because there's a fight here between Karthus and Heimerdinger. The fight breaks out. Heimerdinger does a lot of damage. Flashes in, but Karthus uses his Seraphs and is able to get out. So I'm moving up to try and finish off Heimerdinger. But I get kind of tunnel vision. Bard ults. I'm taking damage from his turrets this entire time. I should back off right here. As soon as kog'maw comes in, there's no reason for me to stay. Because of that, I end up dying. I get tunnel vision. I end up dying because of that. Bard tries to escape, but ends up dying. kog'maw does a good job trying to escape until Sivir gets up here to help. Udyr is just incredibly fast and very annoying. This whole time, they're pushing our bot lane again. So we devoted all these resources to just try and kill Heimerdinger in the top lane. This whole time they're pushing bot lane. So Karthus is going to move to try and defend. They ends up taking quite a lot of damage. We also have Ezreal who's pushing our mid tower, which is now pretty low health. So Ezreal fires an ult and deals a lot of damage. So both kog'maw and Sivir are looking to back, but Ezreal's continuing to push. I'm rotating, and I'm looking to defend this tower. But there's definitely some miscommunication between us. There's no reason why Sivir needs to stay. I'm rotating. If I can't get there before the tower goes down, then I just can't get there. I mean, the tower's going to go down pretty soon eventually. We're just kind of delaying the inevitable. There's no reason to try and risk Sivir dying over that, because now we're losing kind of map control. So we're going to continue to try and defend mid. But Heimerdinger's pushing top lane. He's just been split pushing this whole game. He does it very well. So we're going to try and get something out of this. Jan's able to flash and she gets a great ult which isolates kog'maw and pretty much kills him instantaneously. At this point, we need to get out, we need to back out of this. So I'm able to save Bard by getting the root on. He takes some tower shots. I probably could kill him if I continue to go after him, but it's not really worth it because it would be a 1v2. And you don't want to go for 50-50 scenarios where you could probably die, especially when you're behind. That was very clever by Bard to bait the Caitlyn ult and then to use his heal to make sure that he wouldn't die to it. Zura comes in so she can get the wave clear, so this tower won't take any more damage. So Bard's gonna come over here, try and continue to get his chimes, magical journeys, right into a Heimerdinger. So this is one of those times where magical journeys are kind of like drug skids. They'll definitely take you places, but not guaranteed to be a place you want to go. So moral of the story is don't do drug skids or you'll wind up like Bard. See? Not only do you learn about League of Legends in this, you also learn about life. kog'maw's doing a very good job though, here split pushing. This is our last tier 1 tower, so this is kind of like easy gold, right? We can push this tower without having to go too deep onto their side of the map. So this is a really easy way to try and get some more global gold. And Heimerdinger can't really engage kog'maw. kog'maw is just huge right now. Alright. This is a perfect wall by Karthus. So now we have Ezreal and Caitlyn on one side of the wall, and we have Janna on the other side. So Janna is dead. There's no way that she can get out of here. And the only way that Ezreal and Caitlyn can try and help her is to go through this wall and get slowed, and then their life will be in danger. So even though she ults, this is a really easy kill. And then Udyr comes in. He's gonna do what he can. So we definitely get a little bit disorganized here. If we go for one of these targets, if we either all decide to go for Ezreal / Caitlyn, or we all decide to go for Udyr, we're gonna kill one of them. But because we split up, we're not gonna be able to get the kill on any of them. Also, I'm not a huge fan of this magical journey here. I think this magical journey would have been a lot better if they put it here, so that way we could have basically cut off the distance so he couldn't run away. The hindsight's kind of 20/20. So this is really good here. So most people would just run around this bush and then come right here. So Bard and Karthus do a really good job just putting their skill shots right there, anticipating that he's going to want to go that way. But Udyr does a very good job of continuing to run straight and then cutting across to get away. So that was well played by him. And we wind up chasing way too far. But we're going to come back and we're going to take Dragon, right? Because we get the kill on Janna. And our whole game is that anytime we're going to get a kill on somebody, we're going to take an objective. That's always the goal. So this is how you want to play. Anytime you get a kill, you're going to want to say, what objective can I take? How can I punish them further? So it's kind of another reset period. And you can see our ward coverage compared to the other team is pretty bad. So our lack of warding is making things a lot more difficult on us. So that's something that we're usually pretty good about, but we did a very poor job of in this game, was keeping up our ward presence. Because the warding will allow you to get gank paths and things like that. So this is kind of a fail magical journey by Bard. She's trying to get there so she can go that way, but ends up going the wrong direction. So. So this entire time, Udyr is split pushing. So they've got Heimer split pushing top lane, they've now got Udyr pushing bot lane. And that's very difficult to deal with. The 1-3-1 is, when it's executed correctly, is very hard to deal with. But we're able to kill him. He had to burn our flash, but he burnt his flash as well. This kind of makes it so that we don't have much wave clear in mid lane. So they're forcing us to split up our resources very well. And they definitely have a lot better wave clear than we do. And that makes it very difficult on us. So now looking at things, kog'maw almost has 100 CS advantage on Ezreal. Our ADC has almost 40 CS advantage. And that's huge. When you're two carries, that's exactly what you want to see. Is these huge CS advantages. So even though we're behind in gold, all of our gold is on our carries, which is allowing us to stay in the game. So 3 of us are down here trying to push mid. And meanwhile we have kog'maw pushing top lane. So we're going to use the split push against them as well. And they see that kog'maw is pushing top lane, so they're going to start getting aggressive. They're going to 5-man up here. So at this point, we can defend this tower, right? But if we get too far away from this tower, we're in trouble. Because kog'maw is our biggest damage threat on the team right now, and he's off split pushing top lane. Which is fine. If they don't respond to this, he can push all the way to their base, and there's nothing they can do about it. So all we have to do is not get baited. Even if they try to tower dive with us, we should be able to do a pretty good job with the tower dive. So Bard uses his ult right here. And this is very far away from the tower. So they're already backing off a little bit. But Bard lands his ult. And when you see this in-game, you're like, oh my god, they got 3 people locked up. It's now a 4v2. We can win this fight before they come out of stasis. So we try to engage. But it goes very poorly for us because they come out of... Heimerdinger goes into Zhonya's. And by the time he comes out of Zhonya's, they're out of stasis. Janna is able to ult to disengage us and split up our team, which isolates Ezreal and then also isolates Sivir. And then we do a very poor job of focusing the people we need to focus. So really where we should be devoting our resources are Caitlyn or Ezreal. Caitlyn's really the one we want to be focusing on right now. But we kind of definitely have some miscommunication on who we should focus. And our two damage dealers down here, Karthus and Sivir, die almost immediately. And then we have to back up, but we're not able to, and we'll also die. So I'm going to back up real fast. This is kind of a pivotal game, or pivotal point in the game. So I don't mind the engage. If Bard lands an ult, that's a great time to engage. But you want to try and think about who do you want the ult to land on. And really, you want the ult for Bard to land on the people who either have disengage on their team, so like a Janna or a Gragas or an Azir. Anybody who can disengage our team from their team, we want to get in Bard's ult. And the other person that we want to get in their ult is anybody who has Zhonya's. So really what we want is we want to Zhonya's Heimerdinger and Janna. That should be our goal. This is Zhonya's Heimerdinger and Janna, and then we can engage in a 4v3 against Udyr, Ezreal, and Caitlyn. So unfortunately we're unable to do that. We could do this right here because they're stacked up perfectly. We just ult on this half. We could actually get Udyr, Heimerdinger, and Janna, and Ezreal and Caitlyn would be caught out. We're a little bit slow to engage on this, and it winds up hurting us pretty badly. They get 4 kills and we don't get any. So important to think about who you want to use your ults on, right? If you have one of these game changer ults, like a Bard ult, you really want to think about, alright, who am I going to use this ult on? So they're going to push down our mid tower, but the entire time our kog'maw is pushing, and he's actually winning the base race. So that's going to force Ezreal to back. And kog'maw sees that Ezreal is backing, so kog'maw is going to back now. So now kog'maw is able to get that turret, and he backs, and then now he's going to still be able to save our inhibitor. So it's a pretty even trade for turrets. We actually get 3 turrets and they get 2, but they get 4 kills out of it. So that was definitely our mistake. Okay, so we're continuing to push, and we see Caitlyn bot side, right? Anytime you've got one of their main damage dealers showing bot side who doesn't have teleport, Baron. I mean, really. Because it's going to take her a very long time to respond, and kog'maw and Karthus have got just insane damage on Baron that we can burst down Baron very quickly. So even though it's completely telegraphed, they have wards on Baron, we just deal so much damage that we can get this Baron before they can rotate to stop it. However, our Bard does get caught out, as well as our Sivir, but we're able to get Baron and 3 of us still stay alive. So that's pretty good. It's not as good as it could have been. We could have done a better job clearing out these wards, but we prevent them from possibly taking Baron. And we still have kog'maw and Karthus, which is going to allow us to do a lot of damage. So you can see how low Ezreal and Janna are. This is setting up perfectly for a Karthus ult. So we're able to get 4 kills, pretty much ace their whole team. Udyr comes up right at the very end. But this is going to set us up very well to get back in this game. Because we're still, even after those 4 kills, we're still 2k behind. And they still have a 3 kill advantage on us. So you can see we're pushing dragon, we're pushing mid, we're pushing top, we're pushing bot. We're taking every single objective we can off of those kills. Every single wave is gonna have empowered minions. So this is good, right? So Sivir's pushing this bot lane, but we've got the ward coverage. So we know when a gank is happening. And we can safely back out before they're able to collapse on us. So now that we've got the last of the tier 2 towers down, our next job is to try and get the inhibitor turrets down. So this is a very poor decision by Udyr. Their entire team is way back here, and he's just way too far forward compared to the rest of our team. Like, yeah, it looks like it's a 5v3, but they don't have vision on Bard or Sivir. For all they know, they're just chilling in this bush right here, and they're actually really close to us. So Udyr puts himself in a very bad position, which is pretty much just going to get him killed very quickly. So now it's a 5v4, and they can't fight. So Janna gets stuck in this ult, and she's dead. There's nothing they can do to stop this. So a smart team would just back out, not try to save her. But Heimerdinger tries to stick around, and Zhonya's. Janna dies, and as soon as he comes out of Zhonya's, he's dead as well. So off of that one kill on Udyr, because he made a mistake, we're able to get 3 kills off of that. And they are able to kill me. But I really don't care if I die at this point. It's really about the damage dealers, because we need the damage dealers to knock down the inhibitors. So, speaking of damage dealers, their 2 damage dealers are still up. And even though they had to back to heal up, they're now fully healed. So once they take this one tower, there's no reason why Karthus needs to stay here. He's not going to do any damage. And there's really no reason why Sivir should be playing very far forward. I don't mind her sticking around to assist a little bit, but it really should be Bard and kog'maw if we're going to try and take this inhibitor. But Sivir is really far forward here, and Karthus just has no business being here. Ezreal comes in, and he's able to get 2 really easy kills off of that. But we're able to get the counter kill on Ezreal. At this point, we want to get out. So there's no reason why we needed to try and push that inhibitor. It's not necessarily a bad call to try and go for it, but you just need to make sure you're in the right position. There's no reason why Sivir needs to be in front of kog'maw. She should be back over here so that she can retreat. And then Karthus, there's no point for him being there. He should have just backed out completely. But off of that Baron, we're able to get bot tower, mid inhibitor tower, and the mid inhibitor. All off of Baron right there. If you look, now we actually finally have a gold lead. This is like the first time that we've had a gold lead, substantial gold lead the whole game. And we're still behind in kills, but we just have so many objectives over them that we still have the gold lead. And really the CS advantage is huge. 50 CS on our 80 carry, and way over 100 CS on our mid laners. So at this point, it's really just coming down to one last push, right? You got the mid inhibitor down. All we need is one more good team fight, and the game will be over. So we're going to group up and try to end this game. So I don't mind kog'maw pushing here, because no one person can take kog'maw on their squad right now. So he can continue to push this bot lane, and they have to send 2 people to defend against him. If they only send 1 person, that person is most likely going to die. So they're faced with a bad choice of either sending 1 person down and possibly leave them to die, or only having 3 people top lane against an open inhibitor turret against 4 of us. So this is the right play. We got kog'maw pushing, he's doing a lot of poke damage. And then top lane, we've got 4 people. So this is kind of a dumb play by Heimerdinger. He Zonias to try and get out of the Karthus ult, and then we just collapse on him. So as soon as you get 1 kill, that just completely opens up the base. They can't contest this inhibitor anymore, because there's only 3 of them to contest it. And meanwhile, Udur's trying to engage on kog'maw, which is just not a smart idea. He's got so much gold on him. So now it's a 5v3 scenario with very long death timers. This is going to be the end of the game. kog'maw can push down this bot tower very easily, and we can zone them out so that our minions can knock down their Nexus towers pretty easily. So in closing, kind of the highlights of this are, what we did poorly was ward coverage, right? They had much better ward coverage than we did, and that prevented us from ganking a lot, which led to us getting behind in both gold and kills. But the fact that we were able to CS better than them, and the fact that we were able to team fight better than them, allowed us to come back in the game, and our objective control and our team fighting is what ended up winning the game for us. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and this is Randomonium signing off.